Renato says, I love how Simon is clearly having a blast with this segment. Nate says, poor Mark, I really do feel his frustration with this. However, it makes for the best entertainment and it's useful for people who, for whatever reason, have a movie stuck in their head. Quite right, Nate. And Michael in Northern Ireland, I watch Mark endure this segment every week.
Watch. So he goes to YouTube and watches.
With quiet dignity, you think? Despite being clearly uncomfortable, perhaps feeling under pressure to name these films as a personal challenge set for him. And I hope he realises we're not bothered if he knows it or not.
Not bothered?
No.
Look at my face. Look at my face.
I find his reactions...
Is this the bothered face?
I find his reactions to the segment keep me chortling and hope he keeps his good humour because I think this was an important part of the show. Last week, Susie Sell said...
Go on.
Right, movie seen in a small cinema near Soho in the early 80s.
Well, that narrows it.
Japanese, but could have been Chinese.
It could have been Chinese.
A small, poor community living in the hills long before the tech advances, so somewhere between 1700 and 1900. I remember this sounds a particularly grim film. Everyone has to earn the right to food and shelter by being productive. The women chew plants to make ropes. An older woman knows she is becoming less able to contribute, so she knocks out her front teeth. And the only alternative, therefore, is she's taken up to the mountain, to the burial grounds, to be left to die. The grandson makes the long, hard journey with her on his back and leaves her at the end. So, where do we go with this one? Well, Mark in Finsbury Park, and actually dozens of others. The initial description...
What's Finsbury Park backwards?
Of, you'll tell me.
Crappy rub sniff.
The initial description of last week's WTF entry from Susie, 1700s to 1900s, Japanese or Chinese, was pleasingly vague. And to paraphrase Mark, could have been one of thousands of films.
Yes.
However, the instant the plot involving the old woman being carried up a mountain to die was revealed,
Go on.
I immediately recognised the movie as The Ballad of Narayama.
Okay.
However, I may or may not have seen the film, as there are two adaptations of this story from the novel by Shikiru Fukuzawa, and I've only seen the 1983 Shohei Imamura version. Although she saw the film in the early 1980s, I think Susie may have watched the 1958 version because Imamura's film features a scene of a man getting along famously with a dog that I have found impossible to scrub from my memory. I hope that puts Susie and Mark's mind at ease, although I fear this last sentence may have done just the opposite. I wonder if this is the only Palme d'Or winning film to feature such a scene. I should sincerely hope so. Perhaps a future segment contender. I hope not. Mark in Finsbury Park. So,
well, can I just say I haven't seen the film. So again, I'm kind of slightly relieved. One of the reasons this causes me distress is because I'm worried about the fact that my memory is failing. And I'm very happy if the answer is a film I haven't seen.
Yes.
So far, what it hasn't been is a film I have seen and I've just forgotten about. So this is fine.
I think you'd have remembered this from the way
it's described.
Finsbury Park describes it. Glad I haven't seen it. So here's a challenge for you. Glenn Turner has sent in today's WTF, Mark.
Okay.
Ready?
Yes.
Remember, it's not about you. It's about everybody else.
That's what my therapist says every week.
Very good. Love the film review section of your show, particularly the WTF part, says Glenn. I am desperately hoping that you can help me with my own mystery, a mystery which stretches back at least 40 years. I was a mere slip of a youth when I was housebound one day due to illness. Whilst trawling the 3 TV stations we had for entertainment back in those days, remember that?
You remember that?
I stumbled across a black and white film, the name of which has troubled me since those giddy days of the 70s and 80s. The film was definitely shot in black and white and centred around a gentleman who fraudulently claimed a win on the football pools. He had, in fact, completed the pools coupon after the football matches had taken place, but still somehow managed to get his entry into the system. I'm sorry that my fading memory lets me down here, as I cannot recall how he managed to do that, which is presumably the whole point of the film.
Yes.
His heinous act was eventually uncovered when the football pools investigator and police discovered a piece of paper on which he had laid his fraudulent submission as he wrote in the crosses.
On which he had what? Oh, fine. Yeah. Oh, I see. So it's I see. So
there were indentations on the paper which matched exactly his crosses on the coupon. This piece of incriminatory evidence proved his undoing, as it was dated, and therefore proved he completed the coupon after the results were known. Please, can you help to put an ageing man's memory at rest, as I have asked family and friends, work colleagues, indeed everyone I know, and sent Google, other search engines available, into orbit in failed attempts to track it down. Thank you so much.
I mean, that sounds like tonally, that sounds like an Ealing comedy. I don't know what it is, but that's what it is. So it's black and white, a British movie from the, did he say from the, so football pools, 40s, 50s? Is that, that right?
I don't know. Would the Ealing comedies have done football pools?
I don't know. When did football pools stop?
I'm afraid I don't know.
I mean, that just sounds like a kind of somewhat parochial British comedy. It might have been one of the things that, like, Hammer did a whole bunch of black and white comedies in that kind of. It sounds like an Ealing comedy to me, but I don't recognise it.
The football pools still exist. You can play online.
Oh, really?
That's
well, that would destroy the plot point, wouldn't
Exactly.
it? Because he wouldn't be able to leave indentations, what with it being online and everything.
Can you help Glenn Turner? Do you recognise that film? If you do, mayo@bbc.co.uk. Thank you very much indeed.